while we're getting set up. So I am Joseph Hayden. I'm a volunteer with Tobacco Free Salon. And I've been an activist actually against big tobacco since the early 1990s when I lost my dad and got into the whole personal story. We all have a personal story when it comes to these things. But my dad did die at age 50, which is deplorable. And I later found out his mom died at 50, so I didn't really get to know my grandma. So that's how I got pissed off enough. I was in law school and I started writing a lot of articles. And this is when I was living in New York. I came back to California, where I'm from, in 2007, thinking, you know what, there's a big stigma now of cigarettes and all the indoor smoking. It's pretty much gone. Thinking, you know, we made a lot of progress. And tobacco had been targeting people of color, queer people, and pretty much any population that, you know, would, I guess, be vulnerable. So, 2007 happened to also be the year that this vaping really started to take off. So I am now volunteering with a couple of organizations. Oh yeah, here's the organizations.
Ah, BACR.
Yes.
I used to work there.
Yes, they're great.
Yeah.
So in fact, one of the people from BACR was going to be here. So I was on a Zoom during COVID after just moving here to Vallejo, and LGBTQ minus tobacco gave a presentation. This is an organization here in the Bay Area, and it's working in a very different way than I did my activism in New York. This works on local ordinances. So I was new to Vallejo, and I thought, well, what's going on with Vallejo? And they really have helped me to get re-involved in more of a small, local, not small, in a local way. What I was doing in New York was more about counting billboards and fighting big tobacco, basically to other countries, because I wanted to shut them down somehow. So, here in Vallejo, last year we had a lot of success because we had a city council that was willing to listen. A lot of people on there who were concerned about the statistics. And we had done, you'll see some slides. I'm gonna go through the slides very quickly, but you'll see the heat map of Vallejo. And predictably, all the tobacco retailers, of which there are 90 in the city of 125,000. Okay, that's ridiculous. And of course, in the lower income neighborhoods, you can find tobacco retailers. Andrew and I actually did some surveys of these things. But you can find tobacco retailers on all four corners. It's ridiculous. And in food deserts. So don't get me started. I get hot under the collar. Okay? You know, I have a child, and, you know, I don't want my future grandchildren growing up in a world where this has been normalized. And the vaping, Adjua, boy, she has some stories. She has people in her class vaping in class, seeing puffs of smoke come on. That pisses me off too, because the tobacco industry is getting more and more clever. And I was resting on my laurels thinking that we have made so much progress. But you don't see too many people dangling cigarettes around. You don't want to talk about clean air. And now you got things like these disposable devices with toxins, not just going into our youth's body. And I'm concentrating on the youth because I'm not here to tell kids what to do. I mean, excuse me, I'm not here to tell adults what to do. But it's already illegal to sell to people who are under 21. But we don't have statewide enforcement. So, last year, some of you may know, there was Proposition 31, and it passed with flying colors. It banned most flavored tobacco products. And that's what Andrew and I were actually checking for, because we went several weeks after that law went into effect, and we found lots of these retailers here in Vallejo that were still selling, you know, let alone selling to the kids. So, where was my point now? So, oh yeah, so the great thing about Prop 31 is it did ban menthol cigarettes. And that, of course, has been devastating to the black community, as we know, because far more people who are African American are smoking menthol. So I'm so happy that at least that targeted community is better off in California What did the big tobacco do? They were at the ready, as you all saw, with me, non-menthol cigarettes, with the same damn packaging. Go ahead.
There are about, I don't know how many retailers in Vallejo right now.
90.
In my community,
Tobacco
where you
retailers?
can buy Newports right now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, trust me, I know that there are
Yeah.
people who've got the flavored stuff right under the counter just for asking.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's insidious. So, yeah, there is a bit of a black market, but there will be a finite amount of that to go. We can go to the next slide. Oh, I'm sorry. I do want to introduce the other organizations. So Bay Area Community Resources, what's wonderful, and I always say this, they don't want to see someone that looks like me lecturing to kids about not vaping and smoking. Well, when I say smoking, I mean all types of tobacco products. So fortunately, we have a lot of great youth activists who speak at city council with us and at the Vallejo Unified School District and other events. And this is where we get them from general, is that they're trained on how to do public speaking here. This is an organization that I also volunteer with. This is Vibe Solano, and they have a tobacco-free Solano program, so I am a volunteer co-chair here. So, okay, sorry, go ahead. Oh yeah, so this is just about me, basically everything I said. This is just notes to myself, it wasn't really meant to talk about. But I do want to point out that we did get smoke-free multi-unit housing passed unanimously here in Vallejo last year. So it took, some drama, because we did have pushback from the cannabis lobby. I can get into that, but I am not anti-cannabis. I just want to say that what our perspective is, and when it comes to employees, when it comes to immunocompromised people, when it comes to children and the elderly, who cannot just pick up, and the indigent, who cannot just pick up and leave when they're exposed to passive smoke, including fourth, which I can explain, fourth-hand smoke. I just call it passive smoke because there is second-hand smoke that we're all familiar with when someone in your household is smoking right in front of you, as my father did all the time. And then you have third-hand smoke, which the way I've always understood it is it can creep through electrical sockets.
Right.
So if you're in an apartment building, I grew up a military brat, I lived in apartment buildings, so it can creep through electrical sockets, it can linger on clothes. I had people wearing denim, handing me my baby after holding my baby, and my baby smelled like tobacco. So that's more like third-hand smoke. Fourth-hand smoke is somebody who smoked with curtains and carpets, moves out of apartment, and it's still there when the next person moves in. So that's basically what fourth is. So I just call it passive smoke. That's all. Okay, go on. Okay, so we don't have to get into all the numbers. I got lots of slides and lots of stats, but this is Vallejo specific, and it's deplorable. Even if you could, not only if you compare Vallejo to the rest of the Bay Area, but when you compare Vallejo even to the rest of Solano, we have a next door neighbor, Benicia, that has this thing called a tobacco retail license, and that is what we're fighting for this year. Based on the momentum for Proposition 31 passing, I have been working with this coalition to get the city attorney and the city manager here in Vallejo to pass a tobacco retail license. And we don't want a run-of-the-mill tobacco retail license. We want a robust one. We want a modern one. We want one that is going to close up the gaps from the flavored tobacco that was not prohibited in Prop 31. Because of course, the big tobacco came by, and not only did they come up with non-menthol products that have a release mechanism for flavors to try to re-addict the people that were taking these menthol products with the same exact packaging too. But they are, what was I saying? Oh yes, so the tobacco retail license, you'll see, has a lot of great elements to it. And I'm gonna go through those slides, I promise, very quickly. One of the ones that is my favorite is prohibiting pharmacies from selling cigarettes. Think about that. You go into a pharmacy to get your medicine, and they will provide you your cigarettes too? It's ridiculous. So some of these large chain pharmacies have willingly stopped selling cigarettes. we'll make sure they do, at least here in Vallejo. That's just one. Anyway, we can go on. So, because of, LGBTQ, with everything that's going on with transphobia and all these ridiculous laws across the country, you can only imagine how these youth are feeling ostracized. They're gonna think that they can relieve themselves, and they go to these types of addictive products. They're highly addictive. Did you know that one vape pen can have the equivalent of 400 cigarettes?
100 cigarettes.
400. So you don't think in terms of packs anymore. Oh, and then I didn't have it in my slides today, but they also have branding. They have SpongeBob SquarePants vape pens.
Right.
They have Barbie
Right.
vape pens. Now, they're probably not official Mattel branded, but come on. Tell me that these tobacco companies that sell this crap is not targeting kids. What adult is going to buy a Barbie vape? Okay, we can go on. Of course, the peer pressure, dealing with the stress, everything that's been going on in the news, you can only imagine. So I want to remind people that the way this nicotine addiction works is that once you inhale this and the nicotine gets into your system, it does expand your blood vessels. The blood vessel, that relaxation would not be needed if you weren't addicted to nicotine in the first place. So not having that nicotine, your blood vessels will constrict. How do you get that relief again? That relaxation feeling? You smoke again. And that's how they get. And with these flavors, of course, it's gotten even worse. Go ahead. So I call it a TRL, Tobacco Retail License. The brilliant part of it, we did a big presentation at City Council in May. The best part that the City Council loved, it's revenue neutral. So that means Vallejo citizens pay nothing. Those retailers who get the privilege of selling poison in our city, they're the ones that pay this fee, even if it's hundreds of dollars. They pay the fee, and that pays for the enforcement. So yes, we have a shortage of people in code enforcement, but the tobacco retail license that the retailers pays for the offset of whatever staff is needed and whatever decoys and consultants are needed, and even the kids to go in and try to buy these tobacco products. And remember, we're talking people under 21. So the statistics that you'll see in a minute here are just deplorable. So, okay, I'll speak about some of the things that we can do with a TRL. Go ahead, please. Yes. Look at this number. Yes, it's pre-COVID. Nearly half the people, the youth, nearly half the youth in Vallejo can walk into any of these 90 retailers here in Vallejo and reliably not be questioned about their age. And they will be sold tobacco products. It's illegal. And of course, Benicia has a tobacco retail license, but guess what? If a teenager wants to buy tobacco products, they know Vallejo's right next door, a couple minutes away. 50% chance they can walk into a retailer and buy it. So I would even say people all over Solano and the general area would want us to have a strong tobacco retail license so this cannot happen. You can go to the next one, please. When Andrew and I went and we did these surveys, I have been doing this for decades. I was gobsmacked by the variety of products and the liquids and other things that people have been putting into their bodies. I was even surprised they still had snuff that my grandfather used to make, which gives people mouth cancer, by the way. All these tobacco products, they sell it because it's highly addictive. And our kids are getting, are subjected to these incredible amount of advertisements. And we saw, Adra, right?
Yeah.
Wallpapered storefronts with these things. They don't even say smoking. They just have these like beach settings and all these other things.
25 cents for cigarillo.
Yeah, these ridiculously low prices. And that's something that the TRL, a robust TRL, will address too. Because keeping them cheap will keep our kids addicted. Please go to the next one. So this is basically, we don't have enough enforcement, let them pay for themselves. We can go to the next one. The compliance checks are very important. So yes, while the mayor and the city council directed staff, and they are working with us because we provided them the best language from the Public Law Health Center on how to have the most modern tobacco retail license here in Vallejo. I mean, if this passes the way we want, we will be a model in the Bay Area and California. So imagine that, going from one of the worst statistics of selling to youth to having the most robust one and not costing the city anything. So California, again, very, very few checks. And we have organizations like Bay Area Community Resources that is willing to even be hired if we have staffing problems in Vallejo, as we do and a lot of places do. So we have organizations like that that are willing to do the decoy checks, and they have youth activists on hand. Okay, we can go to the next one, please. Okay, and that's basically what I said here. I also try to remind people that your taxpayer money also pays for all kinds of cessation, but again, I'm not here to tell adults what to do when it comes to cannabis or anything else, unless they're harming children. And I'm talking about the people who sell it to children, smoke it around children. You can have cannabis a lot of different ways, but you don't have to expose people who are vulnerable or children to these products. You can go to the next one, please. This is a small example, but you can only imagine the things that we've seen with the flavors. As I mentioned, Barbie and SpongeBob pants. They have unicorn poop. They have, candy, cotton candy flavors to mask the taste of the tobacco. We can go to the next one. E-cigarettes. This looks like a highlighter. We have a teacher here. Teachers and parents could rummage through their kids' bags and not be able to tell a pen or a highlighter or a USB drive like the one I brought with this presentation from the vape devices, especially when they make them in all these different colors. It's insidious what big tobacco has done. We've got to stop it. So this is one of the things that a tobacco retail license can do. Next one, please. Minimum pack size, like I just said. If you're gonna sell a little cigarillo, the little cigars, you're gonna sell a little cigarillo for 25 cents in Vallejo, any kid can do that. They can buy a pack of 5 for $1 in Vallejo. That's ridiculous. That's so quick. And they can put the cannabis in the cigarillo, which is part of the reason why they do it. And it's illegal for minors to have cannabis. So anyway, you can go to the next one, please. Minimum price. Why are we selling for so cheap? We can mandate that Vallejo tobacco retailers make a $10 minimum pack size. If you took the actual societal cost of what tobacco costs us, it would be $40 a pack. If you think about the long-term health problems that these things cause. New Zealand actually has a plan where people are aging out and it will become more and more expensive based on your age, and they will be going to zero tobacco use because of their forward thinking. It's called, well, I forgot what it's called, but anyway, it's a brilliant plan. Hawaii has also thought about proposing this. Next one, please. Coupons. These kids are being emailed coupons to buy tobacco products. There's no way to check. And they're able to go into a Vallejo retailer and use these coupons to buy them for even cheaper. We will prohibit that. Next one, please. Density. Look at these intersections and look at right where we are now. Look how many tobacco retailers are here. All walking distance.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And yeah, this is probably Georgia Street right here. So yeah, we can mandate that. Of course, we can't stop people who are current tobacco retailers, but the next time they sell the business or location, sorry, we have too many tobacco retailers in this area. You guys need to be X number of blocks away. That's also one thing we can do with the TRL. Next, please. The pharmacies I mentioned, we can move on. It's a no-brainer. PUP. This is what I was telling my husband earlier. We are not here to punish kids. We are not here to give any penalties to the kids who are buying these products. We certainly don't want Vallejo police anywhere near these kids or enforcing this. So let me also stress, we insist that the enforcement be done by the civilianized code enforcement officers. We don't ever want a situation where a police officer goes in and tries to, sorry, but the Vallejo Police Department has this reputation, and we're not interested in exacerbating that. Okay, so I want to make it clear, this is not about hurting the kids legally. We also don't even think, I don't know how Andrew feels, but I don't even necessarily feel we should suspend kids. We should help them with their addictions when we catch them with these big devices, not just scream at them. Go ahead, please. On-site sales, internet coupons and things like this. We don't want anyone ordering cigarettes online in Vallejo. Illegal. Next, please. And the funding, it's code enforcement, I talked about this already. So yes, it pays for itself. Next, please. So these are basically a lot of the things I'm asking for. And why am I here? I want to know if you will sign this petition for the city council, if you want to pass it around, it's the same sheet, and let the city council know how you feel about this. I'm very confident that they're sincere about getting this done, but I've had some pushback. I don't want to name names, but I've had some pushback from some city staff that we don't have the staff to do this, how are we going to enforce it? It is imperative that we not let the tobacco retailers get away with not being checked at least once a year. We are suggesting twice a year. So we want that baked into the ordinance, and it has to be there. Otherwise, it's just a piece of paper with no teeth. And it's just as bad as the state funding that we get for code enforcement, which is nothing basically. So this is a way to protect our youth, and I'm asking for the support. We will be speaking at city council. I don't know which city council meeting is going to be agendized on, but this is a room full of activists. I'm very honored to be here with you. If you are inclined to attend or call in when this goes up, it's important that we stress that this has to have teeth and that we mean it. We will get some pushback from retailers. Like, why do I have to pay this? I already paid for a business license to the state. Well, you're paying for the privilege to sell poison to our people and our kids. That's why. Yes, please.
When it gets agendized, will you email us to let us know?
Absolutely. I'll take all your contact information.
Okay.
If you want. And I'll give you my business cards or whatever. These business cards have nothing to do with this. This is all volunteer that I do, but it's one way to reach me, and my number and everything else. So I don't know if there are any more slides, but you can go to it. Get to the next one, please. How can you help? So you're signing the petition. Speaking at the Vallejo City Council, I'll be there because I watch every minute of every city council meeting now. And we've had some great champions among the city council members. I'm very pleased at the support, and I'm sure that they feel very strongly that the city staff also has to make it a mandate that we do these checks. Oh yeah, and then if you just spread the word, and I want to make sure that other jurisdictions do this. And we're not reinventing the wheel here. There are before Prop 31 even passed, there were over 200 jurisdictions in California that had a type of tobacco retail license. Benicia Benicia's won't even be as good as ours if we get it passed the way I want it to pass. There are unincorporated counties and municipalities that have done this. We're just going to do it better, I hope, if we scream loud enough. Anyway, next one, please. Okay, that's it.